Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of You Can Sit With Us. My name is Maggie, and I am one of your hosts. And today, I'm joined by Matthew.
Hello.
We got Rainie here on the ones and twos.
Hi.
And today, we're talking about Matt's Scandinavian journey.
My Scandinavian adventure.
Yes.
Before we get started, we're going to try out something new. If you have a question for us, put it in the comments, and the top comments we will answer. Put them below.
You came back not too long ago, and we wanted to kind of hear how it was.
Oh my God, it was so fun.
How are you?
I wish I was back there now, living
How long
my
did it
Scandi
take?
dream life.
You were 9 hours ahead. How long did it take you to kind of get back to normal time?
Actually, it was pretty quick. It only took us like 2 days.
Oh, that's not
It was pretty
terrible.
fast.
Did you do anything special to kind of prep for it?
Well, nothing crazy,
Okay.
but I did try to like get on a good sleep schedule like on the plane and stuff, which is hard. I mean, we weren't like in lay down seats.
Mm.
It was like economy plus seating.
Mm-hmm.
So you had like a little more leg room and the backrest went back a little bit. So I was able to sleep.
You were able to sleep? Oh
Yeah.
my God, I cannot.
I can sleep on the regular plane like before the plane takes off.
Really?
Yes. I can fall asleep on the plane so fast.
I can fall asleep
So
before
fast.
we take off, and then as soon as we're in the air, I'm back to being awake. It's just so loud.
It's so
Yeah.
loud.
It's
Yeah.
so loud.
Mhm.
And you
Yeah.
don't realize how loud it is until you put some earplugs on. You're like, wow, it is
Yeah.
loud in here.
So I made sure I slept some before
Can
we
you
got there.
sleep anywhere? Like, is that, or is it something about a plane that makes you?
I think it's like transportation.
Uh-huh.
Like I can fall asleep in the car very easily, like in the train very easily.
Interesting. Yeah.
But I can't. I get motion sickness pretty easily
Uh-huh.
too, so I can't be like going backwards.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
That really messes it up.
I'm definitely on the same page. If I like realize the train's going backwards, I'm like, oh, I gotta sit on the other side. Switch,
I gotta
switch.
switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. There's no way.
Yeah.
So it's easy. Once we got there, easy breezy. We were already on schedule.
Already on
Perfect.
schedule. Perfect. How was the trip overall? It was fun.
Oh my God, it was so fun.
Yeah.
So much walking.
So yeah.
I did like between 20 and 25,000 steps a day.
Oh my gosh.
It's a lot of walking.
I remember you were nervous that you weren't going to have everything, you weren't going to be able to do everything you wanted to do, and you have your trips kind of
Oh my God, we did
pre-planned and
not do
pre-booked.
everything. At some point, after you've like gone through so many museums or like seen so many sites, like your brain just can't absorb any more information.
Mm.
Like some person's name you don't know from a long time ago did something and you're trying to read about it and you're like, okay, well, I'm never going to think about that again.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of take us through kind of how it began. What was your favorite part?
Oh my gosh. So we started in Bergen,
Mm-hmm.
Norway, which is on the west coast. And Bergen is the rainiest city in Europe,
Oh.
which I learned when I got there,
Oh.
which was really great. And we knew it was going to rain some, but not as much
Yeah.
as it did. It rained literally every single day we were there.
How many days were you there?
We were there for 4 days.
Oh, sad.
Yeah. So it was like, actually,
every
I
single-
messed up. We started in Stavanger,
Stavanger. Okay.
which is,
What time did you arrive?
we got into Stavanger, I think it was like at 2 p.m. or something.
Okay.
And then in Stavanger, it's like a little tiny kind of port town.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a big fishing port. But we started in Stavanger, and that's where Pulpit Rock is.
Oh, yeah.
Which is one of the famous hikes, probably the most famous hike in Norway. And it's also where a scene of Mission Impossible, I feel like it's like 6, was filmed too, where he like jumps off of the cliff, which should be insane. Like
Yeah.
it's so high up. It's so tall. And no one fell off when I was there, thank God. But it was raining the whole time. So we were hiking in the rain. So soaking wet, hiking up. It wasn't too cold. It was like in the 60s, so you weren't like freezing.
So it was like a sweaty, wet.
Yeah, sweaty, wet rain. And the whole way up is almost the whole way was like on rocks. So they brought Nepali Sherpas to help build the path up. So they built all of these like rock steps.
Oh, okay.
So it's tons of rock steps and then like a rock like road path, almost like a river bed kind of looking thing. So it's not very muddy because you're like on rocks the whole time or on bridges and stuff.
And you kind of have grit because it's not slippery.
Yeah, exactly. So you can kind of, people don't really fall as much. I didn't see anyone fall. Actually, I fell once. I slipped. Yeah, but it wasn't that bad.
Did you fall all the way down? Like, did you hit
like
the ground?
full onto my butt. Yeah.
Oh no, was that early
I
in
just
the
went,
trip?
psst. No, it was on the way down.
Oh,
You know,
Oh,
but I was fine. It was okay. But it was crazy at the top because it was like inclement weather. You're so high up on the cliff that the wind blows up the cliff like this.
Mhm.
So when you get to the cliff, not even the edge, you just feel the wind coming, from below you up, which is like kind of the opposite that you normally feel the wind coming from. And then also it would bring all the rain that was like there too up. So it's almost like splashing you.
wow.
And it's so strong. It feels crazy.
That
It feels
feels-
so weird. And it was cloudy, like foggier. So we couldn't even see all the way to the bottom. You could only see like glimpses of it. But it feels so scary. It feels so scary. You're so high up.
How many?
Like Eugene didn't even want to get close to the edge. Like I was a little more brave. He like wouldn't even. He was like, don't take a picture. Don't take a picture. And I was like, we came all this way. I'm going out there to take a picture.
Yeah, you're gonna.
And then
drop your
after
phone?
I did it, he was like, okay, I can do it.
and that was
But he
the
was too
photo
afraid.
that he posted. Was the one that
Yes.
he bravely after you led the
After
way.
me, yeah.
Right.
And I took that photo of him, and then I got that amazing photo because I got close enough to the edge to make the photo look so amazing. And then when
I
he took the photo
Wow.
of me, it wasn't as good because he didn't get as close to the edge.
Oh my
It's
god!
always how it goes. Mm-hmm.
But the whole experience is supposed to take like 5 hours because you have to take a bus to the trailhead basically from downtown Stavanger. So, and they give you like a 5-hour window
To complete.
to come back, and they'll get you in 5 hours. And we finished it in 3. We were so fast.
You guys
Maybe
are
too
very
fast.
quick hikers. The last like couple hikes that Zach and I did with you, you guys were like so far, and Zach and I were like, "We'll meet you up there." You guys
Eugene
are
really wanted to
speedy.
rush.
Yeah, you guys are speedy.
It also was like raining, so it was like kind of makes it.
Yeah.
It makes you motivates you to go faster.
That's
to like get out of
true.
the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, move it along.
Mm-hmm.
Like a warm shower after you being in the rain all day.
Yes.
Did you take a warm shower after
Oh my
you
God,
got
yeah.
home and you're like, okay.
Mhm.
So what day was this? The day you arrived? You
This
went
is the
on-
next day.
Okay,
after
I
we
was like,
arrived.
did you like
Oh my
drop your
gosh.
bags? and
Eugene
then
wanted
take, like,
to
a
go that day
5-hour?
because that was the only day it didn't rain on the west coast.
Oh.
And I was like, but it would really suck if we got there and we're
Yeah.
tired, and then we have to go and do this
A
hike.
5-hour.
That sounds nuts.
I was like, we're not doing it.
Yeah.
So instead, we just walked around Stavanger and like, little town and stuff. It's really small. It's cute. Took good pictures. Very idyllic. All like the wooden houses
Was this where you were
on the fjords.
swimming?
No.
No,
So
this is
then
different. Okay.
from Stavanger, we took a ferry. There was a couple hour ferry through all the fjords up to Bergen.
Mm.
So that was very nice, very relaxing. It was like a mini cruise ship. It
Oh.
feels like luxurious. Like people rent out cabins and like take naps. There's like beds and stuff.
Whoa,
Ooh, fun.
And they have duty free shopping. They had a nightclub because they do have night cruises too,
Oh
with
my
like a
gosh.
bar and like dancing. And they have like playgrounds for kids on the roof.
Oh.
They had a breakfast buffet, which was delicious.
Wow.
I was like, they don't have anything like this here.
No. Yeah.
So fun. So then we took the ferry up to Bergen, and then Bergen is the rainiest city in Europe, and they have a bunch of like trams that go to the top of the mountain because it's kind of like in a little bay kind of the city is, and it's surrounded by mountains on all sides. So you can go up on different sides of the city to get like lookout points. But it was so cloudy and rainy that the tallest lookout point that I wanted to go hike up to, like it was just pure fog. Like if we got up there, we wouldn't be able to see anything.
That's sad.
So we had to change our hiking plans and go to a lower one. But then it was also pouring rain the whole time we were trying to hike up. But, it was still a good workout.
Yeah.
That hike was shorter too. It was only like an hour. So
Okay.
it was pretty quick. And then you could take the tram down, which was nice.
That is nice.
But I literally bought a new wool sweater.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
And I
wool.
bought
Yeah.
a rain jacket that was like a head to toe type rain jacket.
Oh,
Because
God.
mine
Head to
was
toe
just
type
too,
beat. Yeah.
mine was just not cutting it on day one. I was like, I need something else.
I need something
I
that
need
was
something
like
else.
built here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Built for this.
Exactly. But Bergen was super cute, like very like quaint tight feeling town, but still had enough like hustle and bustle, like people around. Like they have a couple of really great museums there and stuff.
And this was you and Eugene at this point.
Yeah.
How was traveling with Eugene? I know it's been so long since you guys
gosh.
had an international
Any type
trip.
of
Just
vacation.
you two together. Any sort of vacation. I remember I
He's a
told
workaholic.
my mom, I was like, Matt's going to at the same time that I'm leaving, and she's like, oh, okay. And then just assumed Eugene wasn't coming, and Eugene's going to. She's like, what? I was like, it's usually the opposite. Like it's a surprise if the significant other isn't coming. But
I know,
I'm so
right?
glad that you guys were able to go. So how was it?
It was fun. He definitely got to, unplug.
Yeah.
He didn't have to do hardly any work when we were there. So that was good just to be able to like get your mind off everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Was it
Be away
harder
from
for
everyone.
him towards the end of it? Because it was.
He was ready to come home for sure. He's like, I'm done being on vacation. I'm done eating all this delicious food and pastries.
I'm done living out of a bag. I'm ready.
He just like wanted to be home by the end. I can't see any more castles.
I want to see
know?
I want to see my puppies.
And I was like, I still want to see all the castles. So I still like had to drag him to
Out.
everything at the end.
we're only
And
here
then half of
once.
those pictures at the end are the ones I had to drag him out to, the ones he posted.
Oh,
you know?
see. Yeah.
You're
So I
really
was like,
a social
aren't
media
you glad
manager.
that I gave you all these experiences?
Yeah.
What was there a castle that stood out? What was your favorite castle?
Oh my God, yeah. So there is one in Denmark, and it's outside Copenhagen, like, I don't know, like 40 minutes by train. I mean, you could take public transportation anywhere. It's so great. So we did that one day, and it was like, okay, this is going to be our main activity for the whole day. And it was amazing. It was like a castle, I think it's called Frederiksborg Castle, and it's in like the middle of like a lake.
Ooh.
So it's very
Whoa.
pretty. And you go in. Of course, it was under renovations. I feel like everything's under renovations all the time, all those old places. But it was huge, like huge. Like 7 levels. They had like multiple different types of museums and like art and recreations and stuff in there. It was really cool. And then they had a cafe. They have these beautiful like French style gardens or English style gardens in the back. So you got to go and walk through those with all like the different water features. And they had a cafe back there. And it was so funny because we were looking for like a lunch place to eat, and we wanted to have basically like the open face sandwiches, like kind of flatbread type things are like really popular there. So we hadn't had it yet. So we were looking for that. And the cafe had it. And I was like, oh, it's going to be like some like weird museum cafe. And it's not. It was like 2 old ladies that like ran this place. And it was like a buffet. And you got to go up and choose like which little toasts with accoutrements you wanted on top of them. But it was so cute because it was us. We were there. And then it was some like retirement community. So it was all these old ladies were there for like the breakfast special. So it was really cute. So it was all these old ladies in like this little garden park, and then Eugene and I.
Oh,
It was really good.
that sounds
It was
awesome.
really fun. So that was definitely the best castle, the most impressive.
How did you find out about said castle, and like
Yeah.
what sort of like where do you source like travel? Where do you take travel advice from when you're planning your trips?
This was the first time I ever did this, but Scandinavia has like citywide passes for each of the major cities that are amazing. It's such a good deal. Like, so you like for the Oslo pass, for example, it was all of your public transportation and every single like tourist attraction you could want to go to is on the pass, and you pay like one fee and you can buy it for like however many days you want. So we were there for 4 days. We bought like a 4-day pass. You don't have to worry about paying for transportation. You got into everything you wanted to for free. And you literally save money by doing it. Like after you go into like 3 attractions, it like paid for itself.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's so worth it. Highly recommend. So then on the app, it tells you all the places you can like get into and stuff.
That's awesome.
Oh, cool.
So it was really good.
How did you find out about said passes?
Actually, I found the Oslo Pass on TikTok,
Oh, okay.
which was kind of, I did try to source a lot of things from TikTok because people are making a lot of travel videos, I feel like. So then I would search on there for like restaurants,
Yeah.
cafes, different things to do. And they would give
Get
little
more- you
kind
get
of
more.
insight about those things. But because I found the Oslo Pass, I looked up for Stockholm and Copenhagen and got them for there too.
Oh, okay. That's so smart.
But they're so good. Highly recommend. And it was nice too, because a lot of times you're like, we'll see something and you're like, I don't really want to pay for that.
Yeah.
But then if you already have it and it's free, then it's like, okay, then
And those
might
are
as
a
well
lot
go in
of
for 10
times,
minutes.
Yeah,
you know?
the best ones. Where it's
and
like,
you might
oh,
might never be back there. You never know.
Yeah.
Right?
Might as well have
Yeah.
the option to hit all the things.
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm
It's
so
worth
curious
it.
about the food. That's my
Oh.
favorite thing to hear about when traveling.
Yeah.
So what were the best bites?
Lots of seafood. Everything
really?
is seafood. Yes. So much
Oh.
seafood. So much seafood.
How do
like
they cook
lots
it?
of different fish soup, which is delicious. Highly recommend.
Ooh.
And then one thing that I had that was not seafood was a reindeer dog. In Bergen, there's a famous hot dog stand, and they have hot dogs made from all different animals or meats, I should say. And and their most famous one is made from reindeer meat. But it was delicious. I would never have known. It just tastes like a really, really good hot dog. And they also top it with like the lingonberry sauce.
What is that?
That's like, have you ever been to IKEA and you have the meatball
Oh,
platter?
yeah.
And they kind of look like cranberries.
Uh-huh.
Lingonberries.
Yeah, delicious. They put lingonberries on so many things. It's delicious.
Whoa.
I brought some home, like the sauce.
So was the reindeer hot dog was the texture any different? Was it like chewier?
No, it tasted literally like just a really good hot dog.
Whoa. I guess hot dog is, they're a mix of meats.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
Exactly.
Put anything in there.
Yeah, I guess you can put anything in there. So reindeer hot dog, fish stew. What was like the flavor palette of the fish stew? Like, is it cilantro-y? Like what?
Dill. Everything there is dill.
Oh.
People there love dill. Dill's in everything on
I
everything.
love dill. Yeah.
And then another popular flavor for things is licorice. So they have like
Licorice.
licorice ice cream, licorice candies, cocktails,
That's so interesting.
those types of things. So lots of licorice.
Oh.
I
Very
wonder
good.
why. Like, I'm sure there's somebody who, like, drop in the comments if you know why some places like certain foods and other places gravitate towards others. Because that seems so random. to
In
me.
America, people don't like licorice.
Yeah, it's like bitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
like-
there they do like a salted licorice too. So it's like a very salty flavor with
Oh,
the anise
the
flavor.
onion.
Yeah.
So it's like
Huh.
I mean,
a
I don't.
different combo. But the other thing there that's really good that I loved it's called skagen, and it's like they're shrimp, but they're like the smallest shrimp you've ever seen. They're super, super tiny,
Skagen.
and they just pile them onto things. Like
Whoa.
on top of like a piece of toast or flatbread. And it's just like piled super high.
Yum.
So
That
good.
sounds really yummy.
I had
Fish-
a friend who was a vegetarian all of his life, and then he tried shrimp and chicken, and he thought they tasted the same. And I think about that all the
Whoa.
time because I'm like,
They are not the same.
right, okay, I was like, is it just me or is that seems
I feel like maybe it was bad shrimp or bad chicken.
yeah, right?
One of the two. I was like, texturally very different, but like,
yeah.
Mhm.
are you sure it wasn't like crab meat and chicken? I could see like
Almost
that maybe,
being a little more.
but
yeah, he was like, shrimp was good, tastes like chicken. I was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
or
But-
maybe whatever sauce
Yeah.
the shrimp was in.
He was
Maybe.
confused.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also things that are not spicy.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Huh.
It's like very like mild,
Uh-huh.
you know, a lot of butter,
Oh no.
Mm.
like those type of things. Like it's not a lot of like
It's
spice.
my worst nightmare.
Not a
Well,
lot
I
of
liked.
spice.
I mean, butter does make everything more delicious. I'm not gonna lie. But
Yeah.
it's just like I don't think I
No
fare
spice
well.
and no butter.
spice and lots
Not
of butter.
heat. Yeah, not
Yeah.
heat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
But overall, loved it.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Cinnamon buns,
So
also
good.
famous.
Oh my gosh. So the cinnamon buns are good, but it's really the cardamom buns.
Cardamom.
The-
That sounds
is where it's
delicious.
at. Like literally every coffee shop will have a cinnamon bun and a cardamom bun.
And I don't think I've seen that. I love cardamom.
I love it. It's so good. So delicious. We had one almost every day.
That's
Almost
what I
every
miss
day.
about vacation because I typically
Fika every day.
don't have pastries in the morning, but when I'm on vacation, I'm like, yeah,
They're
I'm gonna
so
have
good.
pastry.
I would have it. Eugene's
my
like, I
coffee.
can't eat any more pastry. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
I could eat.
I could have it every morning. What's wrong with you?
We found this like delicious pastry spot in Amsterdam and it was all vegan pastries, which we are not used to at all. I don't even know, like before I had that, I didn't even know what a vegan croissant could taste amazing just because
It's so buttery.
it's so buttery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It needs to be flaky, crispy, and perfect. Zach rode his bike there, I think the second to last morning we were going to go out and brought back 4 different pastries and we just like had them outside, like overlooking a canal with like tea and our coffees. We ended up eating all 4 of the pastries at once, thinking that we were going to have them over the course of like 2 days. No, we had every single one. It was amazing. We still think about all of them. We had like a tart, which we can't have tarts that often.
That's true. Yeah. The crust is all butter.
Yeah. So then when we flew back here, I was like, we live in Los Angeles. This is like a very large city. There has to be like a vegan bakery with like some vegan pastries. Sure enough, we found one. We went at like 6 a.m. and now we know where that one is. It is 30 minutes from our house.
But you like it?
And I mean, it wasn't as good as the Amsterdam one.
Okay.
Maybe it's just because...
You should send them notes. In their DMs, just slip in the Instagram of the one in Amsterdam and be like,
can you copy this recipe?
But also, we only got 2 things out of the 4. So I was like, maybe we need to try like all the things,
Yeah.
That's true. Support your local businesses.
Yeah, support your local businesses. I was like, we don't have to be on vacation to get pastries.
That's true.
Go find pastries. Period.
Every
day's vacation if you make it.
I am incentivized to make a cardamom bun now. Like I really want to.
A bum.
Cardamom bun.
Please make a bunch. I'll be your guinea pig. I'll tell you.
So good.
Yeah.
It's interesting. To have cinnamon buns here, and cinnamon is just a spice. Cardamom also.
Their cinnamon there also is like different.
Oh.
Like it tastes, kind of like what Big Red gum tastes like. It has kind of that.
Oh yeah.
Like that type of flavor. Their cinnamon tastes more like that. Like our cinnamon is like a milder flavor, I feel like.
Yeah, I want that one.
Theirs has a little bit more punch. To it. I mean, it's not like crazy strong.
Yeah.
But it's just like a different flavor profile.
Maybe it's just more fresh or just like a different type.
It's probably like real and in America. Like fake
synthetic
stuff.
Oh God.
Honestly.
Yeah. Did you feel that? I've heard of people going to Europe and being like, I feel better because I think because the food is so much higher quality.
I got fuller faster. Like I was like, I feel like I'm not eating enough.
Oh yeah.
And I think the food is just like more
rich.
nutritious. Yeah. More stuff. Because I also had smoked salmon every day. Oh my God. The best smoked salmon I've had in my entire life.
Oh
and everywhere it's so good and so fresh. Like they don't even have the bad stuff. You know what I mean? Like everywhere's just so good. I think it's just the nutritional value. Everything was so good and fresh.
Yeah.
That your body doesn't need as much.
Yeah. And are you eating it on bagels or is it like all sorts of different ways?
On anything, on toasts and sandwiches by itself.
By itself, yeah. That's when you know it's good if you could eat it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, with nothing else.
Yeah.
With nothing else. It was so good.
Yeah.
It was delicious. Those 2 things I could have every day from there.
How was
bringing my cardamom buns and my smoked salmon.
Do you have any travel tips for the listeners? Like what were like sort of your like back pocket things that you're like, okay, this is how I organize myself. This is kind of like how I've made my life easier traveling.
Yeah. I think for me, I like to have a big plan going in.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I also like to stay places that you can get to other places easily from.
Okay.
So like everywhere we went, we were like either near the train station or we were near like the port or something where there's going to be lots of people coming through. So that there's going to be good restaurants and stuff around you, right? Where you don't have to like search for an open store or like a coffee shop or something. So that was one thing, is really pay attention to where you're booking your hotels, because some of them look so nice and the deals look so good, and then you like look at location, you're like,
this is not the
this
location.
is crazy. Like, why you're going to spend so much more time
traveling,
commuting or traveling or trying to find a store to get water.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing is I like to do the research of everything before, but then don't plan everything out. Like,
give yourself a little,
you know what I mean? So give yourself
room.
wiggle room. Be like, okay, this is a list of things I want to do. These are where they are in the city, and you can kind of like group them together a little bit. Like, oh, these 4 places are like on the same part of the city. Like, be smart to do them all in one day.
Yeah.
But then you don't have to choose the day.
Right.
You can be like, okay, this would be a good idea. So then every morning you can wake up and be like, okay,
what do I feel like?
Yeah, what sounds good today? What looks good today?
That's really smart.
And then also don't get mad if you get off schedule, because you can always find things to like run in different stores that are really cute and stuff. Like one day I had a whole shopping day and I wasn't even planning it.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean?
What kind of shops?
Candy shop.
Ooh. Welcome to the candy
Got
shop.
some Swedish candy.
Did you go on, what is the day? I think it's Sundays is where they make fresh candy.
Oh,
is that a
really?
thing?
There's always candy everywhere.
Every
It's
day was
crazy.
fresh.
Big candy country.
especially in Sweden. There's a lot
Huh.
of candy stores.
Interesting.
And I brought back, like good souvenir things like Copenhagen. Oh my God, what's it called? Like Royal Copenhagen porcelain.
Ooh.
It's like a famous porcelain brand that's been around for hundreds of years. And it's like the blue and white designs, like the Delft type stuff.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So
How do you know yours is real?
well, I went to a vintage shop where this guy only sells like vintage.
That was on my list to do
Royal Copenhagen porcelain.
in Amsterdam, but I didn't.
So I got like a
time.
couple pieces and stuff from there that was really cute.
I want to see.
You're
You'll have
like,
to
I
show
wanna
me.
see.
I want to see it.
Right?
Yeah.
I know they're at home. Because I also, like, how much can you bring home?
Yeah.
I know.
That's the other thing. And you're like, it's going to break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard.
That's how I feel. Yeah. Sometimes it's just like, okay. And sometimes now when I see a sunset, I don't even take photos of it because it's like, it's not going to come out as good. I just have to remember it. That's kind of how I feel about like, you just have to remember the trip.
Yeah. Remember the feeling.
Yeah.
You know? Exactly.
How was The Alchemist?
Oh my gosh. Amazing. It was so
Yes.
cool.
So this is the 5-hour
It was
restaurant
the
experience.
best dining experience I've had in my entire life.
Oh my gosh.
Really?
We were there for 6 hours.
6 hours.
It was a 6-hour meal.
What time do you start? 4 p.m.?
How do you eat for
Ours
that
was like
long?
at 4 p.m. Ours was like at 4 p.m. Yeah, we got there
Who
around
do you
4
think
p.m.
you are? Keith Habersberger?
Right? Just sit there and eat all day. Well, the thing, so it's 50 impressions, but impression is like a bite, right?
Okay.
They're like
Oh, okay.
super teeny tiny things.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so cool because they bring you into different spaces. So they almost, and everything is
wow.
kind of centered around art and like a different like view of, or different, like viewpoint of art and kind of what that is. So literally right when you get there, there's like these crazy doors that you stand in front of, and there's no signs anywhere. So you just have to go to this address hoping to find it. And it's like in this warehouse.
And people don't
district.
just like
So you're
stumble
going
upon
there.
it.
So of course me, like, oh, public transportation, like we can just like get there so easy. And it was a little more difficult than we thought it was gonna be, but whatever, we got there, it was fine. You get to the door, there's nowhere to like open the door.
Oh.
There's like a little tiny buzzer button that you can hardly see. So
And
you
you're
finally
probably,
like press
yeah.
it, and then it takes a minute, and then someone will come out and like greet you and stuff. And they're very like sly in how they do this, but they kind of keep you outside and they're like talking to you, like very personable. And then they bring you into like the entrance, like vestibule. And it's like all these like black curtains and then like the check-in desk. And they talk to you for like kind of a long time. And I was like, why? Like, why can't we just go in? Like, what are we waiting for? And then there's this other couple who was, so I didn't know this, but I guess Copenhagen, like the most, how do I say this the right way? The largest number of students studying abroad is in Copenhagen, which makes sense. Everything's like very English there. It's very easy to get around. But out of any other like European city, everyone goes to Copenhagen. So there's this couple who was studying abroad in Copenhagen. So they brought us with them into this vestibule. And then they like tell you to go into this room and it's completely dark. You can't even see anything. And you go in, and in the middle of the room, it's like a triangle pillar. And on each side of it is a screen that just pops up really bright light. So then you kind of look at the screen, and then they're showing different like images through time and like news articles and all this stuff happening. But then the photos in the images, the people's faces are your faces.
What?
So they had kept you in the vestibule.
What? So they could take
So
photos
they
of
could
you?
be doing photos with all their cameras, with their AI, that then turn your faces into the faces of the videos and pictures on the screen.
Did you consent to that?
I mean, I guess they're not doing anything with
Yeah, I
them.
guess
like they're
that's
not
fine.
used after that. They're only for
Right.
when you're in that room.
Yeah.
But it was really funny.
That's so cool.
And it takes you a second to be like, wait,
That's
like,
my
you know what I mean?
face.
To like realize that it's you, you know?
Oh my God.
Or like the other people you just met.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like,
Wait.
because actually I recognized the girl first. I was like, that looks a lot like that girl that we just walked in here with, you know? And then lo and
She
behold,
famous?
it was her
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was her
famous.
face. So that was really funny. And then after that, they bring you into the lounge area, which is where you can see like one whole side of it is glass and looks into their test kitchen. So you see all like their test tube, you know, it looks like a laboratory. It's crazy. And they also have their wine library that's just like this huge warehouse. Like I don't even know how tall the ceilings are. So tall. And it's just like floor to ceiling wine.
Whoa.
So much wine. And you sit like in the lounge and that's where they give you like a welcome drink and your first couple of really small impressions. And like they have this tablet they give you that can show you the different experiences you can have for the evening for your whatever kind of drinks you want. So they have like non-alcoholic drinks where it's all like fermented kombuchas and like kefirs and like juices and like all these really kind of cool things. And then like cocktail pairings and then like your traditional wine pairings and stuff, or a mix of all different stuff. So Eugene did a mix. So he got like some different like fermented drinks, some wine, some cocktails. And I just did the wine list because it looked really good. Lots of good wine. But
were the drinks amazing?
Okay, so Eugene got this. They were good, but they were different. You know how sometimes when it's like you have something that's like so different,
Yeah, that's
and
like
you're
a
like,
little startling.
do I like this or don't I
Yeah.
like this? So he had a cocktail, and the alcohol from the cocktail was made from fermented rabbit ears.
What? I can't even
How does that even
imagine what
work?
that
Crazy?
tastes like.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it.
I didn't know that you
They're
could
like
do that.
scientists, and they like they brought out the bottle of like the fermented rabbit ears, and it's like a clear liquid with like the
You can
rabbit
see
ears in them. Yeah, like the fermented rabbit ears. So it was like the alcohol. That's like where the alcohol of it came from.
Did you try that a sip?
I tried it.
Was it good? Or
It
was
was
it
like-
what did it taste like?
It tasted like a little funky.
Oh.
I don't know how to describe it. It was like, it was weird, but not in a bad way, but not in a way that I would want to have it every day.
Oh, not funky.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not funky
It's
like,
like,
ooh.
okay, I would have this again, I guess.
I guess.
But I wouldn't like search for it,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
you know?
Whoa.
And then the craziest thing we had like in that little lounge room were butterflies.
Butterflies.
Yes.
Oh my god.
So I don't know how they do it or what they do, but they look like, I think Eugene posted this as one of his slides on his Instagram, it's like a little butterfly. They look just as if they're preserved like when you see them in like a museum. They look just like that. But it's like super crunchy. And they put like some like flavoring dust, something on them. I don't know. And you eat them. Because everything there is supposed to like push your idea of what food is and also different kind of food or organisms that, you know, as the population in the earth is growing, like more sustainable food sources.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the proceeds from the restaurant actually go into kind of research and development
Oh, cool.
of different sustainable food systems and education for kids and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. Which is Eugene's.
That's really cool.
I remember in Without a Recipe, he did something with bugs. Remember?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
very on
Yeah.
brand for him.
The butterfly didn't have like a ton of flavor.
Yeah. High
But it wasn't
protein?
bad. It
Yeah.
is high protein. It's
Yeah.
like really high protein.
Oh.
But it wasn't bad. Like it was
Did you
like, I
use
would
it-
have that
yeah.
over the rabbit ear
Okay.
cocktail
Yeah.
if I had to choose one.
Yeah.
Did you use a fork and knife for the butterfly?
No, like pretty much everything was like,
potato
most things
chip.
were like, yeah,
A
basically,
potato chip.
yeah,
Potato.
the future potato chips.
Future
Yeah.
potato chips.
Eat your butterfly. So then after a couple of bites there, then they bring you into the main dining room,
Whoa.
which is a dome. It's basically like a planetarium. So the people who did the, oh my God, what's the one in Vegas called? The Eye? Is that what it's called? No, what's it
Oh.
called?
The
dome.
sphere?
The sphere.
Yeah.
So the people who did the sphere in Vegas actually came to visit the dome at Alchemist
Oh.
to like see how they did stuff
Oh,
and how
interesting.
Oh, wow.
they've like improved over time to help incorporate some of that technology into the sphere.
Oh my gosh.
So,
cool.
do they do projections as well?
So during
Yeah.
your whole dinner, there are projections like 360 like above you
That's crazy.
that correspond with your dishes and like make kind of like a certain statement. So one of them was what had to do with like plastic in the oceans. So it was agar that they made look like plastic and kind of like stuck to your teeth. So it like didn't, it was kind of like eating plastic. And above you, they showed like a sea turtle like swimming through the ocean with like in like the plastic, whatever they call the big plastic island in the middle of the Pacific. You know? So it was kind of making statements and stuff like that. It was cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I want to go. On my way.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And you have kind of a handler, I guess you would call them, because they're kind of like your waiter, but they also talk you through everything and like really talk to you a lot through the evening and explain things. You can ask them like tons of questions and they're like very knowledgeable. It's crazy. You could ask them anything about anything and they know. Like any of the wines, any of the cocktails, how anything's made, like every ingredient that's in everything. They know, like they must go to some like course.
Yeah.
Like get tested on.
Like, a year-long training program.
Yeah. It's so crazy. So they were really good. It was really fun. And then one of the other crazy ones was also pushing the envelope about what people eat. And especially in like Western societies, you don't eat a lot of the animal, right? So this one was sheep's brain, but they serve it in a dish that looks like someone's head that's cut open. So they like in silicone on the bottom, it looks like someone's brain, you know? And then on the top is like the impression of the brain, which was actually like really tasty. It tastes like pate, like a little like, it was almost like a macaron. Oh. Like a brain macaron.
Whoa.
It was good. And the other one, the plating was crazy. It was a model of someone's tongue. And on the tongue, it's like a seasonal thing. So they change it throughout the year of like they put something on it that you're supposed to like lick or like suck off of the tongue. It's a really weird feeling. And they said it's a model of an actual like human tongue. Like the person, like the company who made the
I cannot
I don't
imagine
know what you would call it. The tongue molds or whatever is like a real person's tongue.
What the kitchen looks like back there with like them all prepping 50 plus impressions per person and like being in charge of all of that.
That must be such high stakes like there. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. It was so cool.
Yeah. Whoa.
It was really fun. And then
how far in advance did you have to book this? This sounds like
oh my God, months. Because it was like basically right when we knew we were going, I was like, I would either want to try to go to there or Noma. And Noma was like already completely booked. And when we were looking for the Alchemist, it was like the reservations for it were opening up in like 2 days.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
So we like got on super early one morning and we're like at our computers ready and had to refresh until like we got one.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So it took a lot to get in. So then after you have all of these impressions under the dome and you like see everything, then you go into another room and it's an exhibit, or I guess they would call it an exhibit that changes pretty often. And this one was painting with food. So it's almost like you go into this room and all the walls and the floors and there's like a table, everything's bright white. And then they have all these like cans on the table and they have different words on them, like passion or like concept or like tasty. And then each one has a different color, kind of like goop in them. And there's a mime lady who like models like what to do and stuff. Oh. So she'll take like a like little brush, little paintbrush and like stick it into the goo and like lick it. Because it's actually food. It's like some type of ganache or something. I don't know. And then she would take it and then like start going on the walls and stuff. So people had already done this before we got in there. So there's already a bunch of stuff on the walls and like the ceiling and the floors. And so you're like painting with food all over stuff. So that was interesting.
Was it more like good, like tasty, or was it more like experiential and interesting?
It's supposed, definitely more experiential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's
because some people, we also were in that room with another group and it was like 2 women who were probably like in their 50s and they were loving it. Like painting with food. I was like, okay, this is like fun, but like, okay, like I'm kind of over it. I'm ready. I'm done. Eugene was like throwing things on the walls. And then these ladies were like loving it. They didn't want to leave. They wanted to stay. They could stay there all night. But like it was so freeing. It was so wonderful. So it was, you know, different experiences, I guess.
Yeah. They want to make sure that they hit every person's interest.
Yeah. And then the one thing that was
or sense, because it seems like they're tapping into all the senses.
Yeah.
The one thing that was crazy is someone must have recognized Eugene's name on the reservation because when there is one course where they usually feature an artist or like a political figure or something, and they 3D print or like 3D print a mold of that person's face. And it's like on this like tray that is can be lit from the bottom. And so they turn the light on from the bottom, you see it, and it's kind of like this kind of spread type thing. I don't even know what it's made out of.
Yeah.
And you take like this chip item and you like scrape the spread off and eat it. But normally the spread is in the shape of that person's face. So while we're there, it was free to kahlo. But because they knew far enough in advance that Eugene was coming, they made the mold of Eugene's face.
Whoa.
So only his and mine were of his face.
And everyone else had free to
and
kahlo?
everyone else had free to kahlo.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that so funny?
That's pretty fun.
That's wild.
Because I was looking around, I was like,
Did they do
everyone
this to
can't have
everybody?
Eugene's face. And I look and it was like Frida. And I asked them and they're like, yeah, we knew you were coming. So we were able to do
Oh,
this.
that is nice.
That's really cute.
Isn't that so funny?
Oh my gosh.
So crazy. So my 3 favorite highlights of the trip
Yes.
were the fjord sauna, where it was in Bergen, and you get on this little like not a tugboat, but I guess kind of like a barge type thing. And it's like a wood powered sauna, and they bring you out through the fjords. You're like tugging along, and they put the sauna on, and one whole side of the boat is glass. So you look out at all the houses and like the land and the water in the fjords as you're driving through. And he brought us right to like into the downtown area of Bergen. And then you could jump off and swim and do like cold plunge. It was so cold.
Whoa.
Oh, it was
Cold
cold.
plunge. Oh my God. Freezing waters. So cold. It was like, so you could like do the cold plunge and then get back in and then like do the sauna. He'll bring you around to 3 or 4 different spots. That was amazing. That was a highlight. The Alchemist was a highlight. And then the other highlight was the Monk Museum. Highly recommend. In Oslo. It's by Edvard Munch, and he's the one who created the Scream or did the Scream painting. And there's actually multiple versions of the Scream painting because over time he would like redo them. But one of Eugene's friends of a friend hooked us up with a conservator there. So we met with her, Mia. She was amazing.
Cool.
And she brought us, and we did like a behind the scenes tour of the Monk Museum. So cool. And she even showed us like the conservator's like laboratory, and we got to see like how they restore the paintings and the type of work they do, and like the different pigments and the tools and all like the crazy lenses and technology. And we got to get so close, like you could definitely like touch I mean, we didn't touch them, but you're so close you could smell them, and there's, it was really cool. Oh my God. And you could see the framing studio, how they actually frame all the art that they put up in the museum.
That always fascinates me too.
It was really cool.
I'm like,
That
how
was
do
the
you
other highlight.
choose the
It's so
frame?
important.
And it's
Yeah.
so important for a lot
Well,
of...
most of the time the frame doesn't even touch
Oh,
the
really?
painting.
Oh,
Yes.
because it's got to preserve. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So I remember you were saying that it was like, okay, we're going to find out if anxiety was as prevalent back then as now. Was all of his work anxious, or was it just a Scream?
There are many works of his that are anxious.
Okay.
But he did a lot of different emotions. So, but he also was institutionalized too for anxiety and a couple of other things.
Okay.
So he had a lot of feelings.
He had a lot. Yeah.
And he put it all into his art.
Yeah.
But he was also very prolific. Like he had so many, oh my God, just like so many paintings.
So yeah.
Thousands and
Wow.
thousands. Yeah, it was really cool.
Oh my gosh.
It was a cool museum.
Vigeland Park. I think we kind of talked about
Oh yeah,
that.
Vigeland Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vigeland Park was also really cool in Oslo. And it's basically a big park that the city had all this land, and they basically kind of gave it to him in this house with the idea that when he dies, it would go back to the city and they would turn it into a museum for him and a public park. So he created all of these like crazy statues and fountains, and his house was actually his studio. So you could go see his studio space and like how he actually developed and showcased and like made all of his sculptures and work. So it was really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
Okay, I'm gonna butcher Damstredet and tell.
I didn't go there.
Okay.
That's supposed to be one of the roads in Oslo that has like all of the traditional wooden houses. So I didn't go down that specific road, but I went down so many roads with their traditional wooden houses.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of them.
Yes. Yeah. And
It's very idyllic.
because I guess they're not worried about like a fire if they're all wood.
Well, there were many fires that burned a lot of things
Right?
down. Like, especially I feel like it was in Bergen. There's a museum, and it's literally, it's the history of Bergen. It's basically the history of all the fires that have happened there and burned everything down.
Okay, never
Oh,
mind. I was
dang.
thinking, I was like, maybe it's so rainy. Like it doesn't, but
Well, I think also back then, like wood was the cheapest and easiest.
Right.
They didn't
Yeah.
have other materials.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like castles take a lot of work.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of
You
work. Did you have any like romantic moments with Eugene? Any romantic experiences? Any walks?
I mean, The Alchemist was just
Romance.
us. So that was pretty fun and romantic. We also did lots of like little boat tour rides
Aw.
that were very nice.
Yeah.
So that was good. And then like our morning coffee every day.
Yeah.
That was
Lots of
always
hanging
good.
out, lots of
yeah.
like
So we would,
chatting.
because Eugene probably had like 10 coffees a day, I swear. He was like really,
10
the coffee there is not as
coffees.
strong, I swear.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So like I would get like a double espresso and I would be like, okay, this was like half a coffee.
Oh,
in
okay.
America.
You gotta, yeah.
So then
I'm not surprised.
it'd be easy
yeah.
to like, have multiple a day and
Yeah.
you'd be fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, some morning coffee.
Yeah, just get to relax.
Let's see.
Is there any one of the places that you went that you want to go back to just like immediately? Or do you feel like you experienced a lot?
I actually now really want to
Satiated.
go to the the northern parts
Mm-hmm.
of Scandinavia. Because Scandinavia is just Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, and they have a very like tied history.
Mm-hmm.
So they have like they can all understand pretty much like each other's languages.
Mm-hmm.
They were all like a kingdom together for a long time and stuff. So politically and economically and stuff, they've been tied for a really long time. But for like the Nordic countries, that also includes Iceland and Finland.
Uh-huh.
So I really want to go back to Iceland and Finland and do like the northern parts where where you see the northern lights, and actually are supposed to be like the most beautiful part of the fjords in Norway. Because Norway's kind of, I mean, there is like, I think like 1 or 2 fjords in Sweden, but they're all in Norway. Like that's where everyone goes. I think there's only 3 countries in the world that have like the most fjords. And that's
Whoa.
Norway, New Zealand,
Oh,
and I want to say it's like Chile.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
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 So it'd be really cool to go back to do those. I feel like for the cities, I did like most of the stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So unless I was like visiting friends
Yeah.
or something else brought me back there,
Yeah.
I don't feel the need to like rush back.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would go to the Alchemist again though.
Yeah.
If they had an
To
opening and called me up, I'd be like, I'm
re-experience
coming.
Maybe they'll do just like a traveling thing and then you could go do it.
They had pop-ups.
In
They did a pop-up.
Vegas?
They had a pop-up in Vegas.
Oh, wow.
They literally had one.
Why didn't we go? That sounds.
Didn't even hear about it.
I didn't even.
Because our
not on my radar.
handler server lady, she was like, I've only been to the US once and it was to Vegas. I
Whoa.
was like, why are you going to Vegas?
Yeah.
Out of
that's a
all places
crazy-
to
She
go
was
in
like,
the
it's for
US
a
the
pop-up,
first
for blah, blah,
time.
blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, that is Vegas is such a weird.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense that it exists where it exists.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like you drive into
It's
the
in the
desert.
middle of the desert.
It's in the middle of the desert.
Man-made.
Yeah.
And
Well,
man-
yeah.
Man-made paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My-
There's just so much stuff. And like the best chefs come out here and like
Yeah.
we have pop stars.
Yeah. Usher's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my cousin was asking, he was like, okay, so if you're not from the US, which 3 cities do you probably know? Like, obviously it's New York and LA, but what's the third?
I don't know if it's LA. A lot
You
of
don't think so?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of
People hear Florida. People hear Texas.
Oh.
I
Like-
feel like every single time I meet someone internationally, they say they've either been to New York, but they never really say LA. They say San Francisco.
Oh,
yeah, I was
interesting.
going to say San Francisco.
Yeah.
Huh.
But like even in Scandinavia, they had like Texas barbecue places.
Huh.
So like they'll know Texas before they would know other.
That's such
Things.
a surprise. But I guess
Yeah.
that makes sense of just, yeah, like culturally, I don't know.
Because a very distinct aesthetic
Yeah.
comes along with Texas.
Yeah,
you know?
Texas. All right, I think we have time for one audience question. Maggie, can you read this first one?
Okay. Love the pod. I listen to it at work every week. I need some advice about an overload of produce. My husband and I recently bought a house, and the previous owner seems to have been an avid gardener. I thought this was great until now. I have 5 pounds of rhubarb and 13 pounds of grapes in my freezer, along with close to 100 cherry tomatoes about to ripen, more grapes and rhubarb still growing, and no more freezer space. What do I do without all of this? P.S. I do not like tomatoes. Love, Aaliyah. Oh, man.
How can you not like tomatoes, first of all?
I mean, they're not. My oldest sister is not a fan of tomatoes. I feel like that's a common one.
It's polarizing because they're one of my favorite foods.
I love
tomatoes.
I love tomatoes.
I love tomatoes. I love slow cooking tomatoes and just like putting them on pizzas or salads.
The smell of them
pasta.
Cooking. Yeah.
I mean, really, the one that's the hardest to do stuff with is the rhubarb.
Right.
Like, rhubarb's like so specific.
Yes.
And it's usually like in dessert items, you know?
In jams.
Yeah, you can make like jellies and stuff.
What else can you do with rhubarb? Drinks? Can you do make
Probably.
drinks?
You make cocktails.
Yeah.
That was actually my first thing that I was thinking when she said she had all this tomato stuff left. Because you can like tomato wash alcohols and stuff and like have like the flavors of them in the cocktails, or Bloody Marys.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of tomatoes to make the tomato juice and stuff.
Yeah. That's
so
good
even
idea.
if you just want tomato juice. But for the rhrubarb, I don't know. I guess you could also pickle everything.
Yeah.
Pickled rhubarb would be good.
Pickled rhubarb would definitely be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not that hard to do. And then they're preserved for like a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
It's a good
then,
problem
like,
to have.
Also, you can make ice cream things out of stuff or sorbets. So like with the tomatoes, you could even do a tomato sorbet and give it to somebody else if you don't like it. And I mean, the grapes, you could do the same thing.
Yeah. I would say whenever I have like an excess we have a lot of citrus trees in the back. So I will bring citrus everywhere I'm
All your
going.
friends.
Yeah. People usually love citrus. I'll bring it to work and I'll just like put it in the break room and leave a little sticky note and be like, whoever wants citrus, take it, please.
Also, grapes, I feel like everyone loves grapes.
Yeah.
It'd be a perfect thing to do with grapes.
Grapes.
Yeah.
Bring them to work. Oh, here's my homegrown grapes.
Yeah.
I've seen
Or
neighbors
neighbors.
leave things kind of on the street / out and leave little notes.
What else can you like
Avocados I've
make
seen.
with grapes? Like, what do you like? Like people like put them in salads, I guess.
You can honestly freeze grapes if
Yeah.
you have anyone who's like involved in sports. Like I would bring it anytime we'd have like tennis practice or anything or pickleball. It's just like a nice little treat.
Oh, that's a really fun.
I mean, it's if they're seeded, that makes it a little harder to kind of enjoy. But if they're seedless, you can just like pop those in your mouth on a hot day, especially.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like a trend for a while where like people would freeze grapes and put them in their wine to cool down their wine?
Oh,
So it
that's
would
a fun
dilute the
idea.
wine.
Yeah.
But then they would be cold.
Yeah,
and you could eat the alcohol
have a
grape
little
at the end.
Boozy grape. Yeah, that's true.
That's fun. Raisins, you can put them in the oven.
I guess you could. Yeah, you could dehydrate them. That's so easy. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
You could also dehydrate the tomatoes
Ooh, sun-dried tomatoes.
Yeah.
Yum.
and make sun-dried tomatoes.
Yeah,
That's good.
You can make juice, grape juice,
Grape
juice.
juice.
Yeah.
grape jam. You can make jams.
Yeah. Pickling, jamming, juicing, drying.
There we go.
You could use all those.
The 4 quadrants.
Gifting. People really love gifted fresh produce.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for sitting with us today. It was so fun it was so fun sharing my scanny adventure with you. And until next time, remember to pee after sex, be nice to your friends, be nice to your neighbors, eat all of your produce, share with your neighbors. Remember to vote, register to vote, and vote. And until next time, bye.
Bye.
Bye.